The church smelled of lilies and polished wood, a cloying sweetness that turned my stomach as I stood at the altar, my white gown whispering against the stone floor like a promise. The organ's final notes faded, and the priest's voice boomed. If anyone knows any reason why this man and this woman should not be joined in holy matrimony, speak now or forever hold your peace. Silence hung heavy, broken only by the rustle of programs and a distant cough. Then, from the front row, a chair scraped back. My maid of honor, Elena, my best friend since childhood, the one who'd braided my hair in sleepovers and held me through my parents' divorce, stood up. Her face was pale, lips trembling, but her eyes locked on mine with a defiance that sliced through me like a blade. "I do," she said, her voice cracking the air like thunder. "Because I'm pregnant. With Mark's child." The world tilted. Gasps rippled through the pews, a wave of horror crashing over the 200 guests. Family, friends, colleagues who'd flown in from across the country. My veil suddenly felt like a noose, the lace scratching my skin as heat flooded my face. Mark, my fiancé of 3 years, the man who'd proposed on a rainy beach in Maui with tears in his eyes, turned ashen beside me. His hand, which had been holding mine moments ago, dropped like dead weight. "Elena, what the hell?" he hissed, but his voice was too loud in the stunned quiet, echoing off the stained glass windows that now seemed to mock us with their serene depictions of eternal love. I couldn't breathe. My chest tightened, a vice of humiliation squeezing until spots danced in my vision. This wasn't real. It couldn't be. Elena, with her perfect bob and that emerald bridesmaid dress I'd picked out myself, stepped forward, her hand protectively on her flat stomach. "It's true, Sarah. We've been together for months. I didn't want it to come out like this, but I couldn't let you marry him knowing." Her words blurred into white noise as fury ignited in my gut, hot and acidic, burning away the shock. "How dare she? How dare he?" The guests murmured, chairs creaking as people shifted, some averting their eyes, others staring with wide-eyed pity. My mother sobbed audibly from the front, her handkerchief pressed to her mouth, while Mark's father cleared his throat awkwardly, as if this were a minor faux pas at a dinner party. I wanted to scream, to lunge at her and tear that dress to shreds, feel the fabric rip under my nails. But my body betrayed me, frozen in place, the bouquet in my hands wilting under my grip. Inner voices screamed, "This is a nightmare. Wake up." But no, the cool air from the vents brushed my arms, the scent of Elena's perfume, jasmine, the same one we'd shared in college, wafted toward me, grounding it in brutal reality. Denial crashed against rage. She's lying. Mark would never. Yet his guilty flinch told me everything. Heartbreak clawed up my throat, a sob I swallowed down like broken glass. The priest stammered, "Perhaps we should adjourn to the vestry?" But I turned on my heel, the train of my dress dragging like chains, and stormed down the aisle. Whispers followed me like shadows. "Poor Sarah. What a bitch. Did you see his face?" Outside, the autumn sun blinded me, leaves crunching under my heels as I ripped off the veil, tossing it into the wind. It fluttered like a wounded bird before landing in a puddle. Mark burst out after me, calling my name, but I spun, my voice a whip. "Don't. Just don't." His eyes, those blue eyes I'd once drowned in, now pleaded. "Sarah, it was a mistake. One night after that fight we had. One night." Elena emerged behind him, her makeup streaked. "It was more than that, Mark. Tell her the truth." He hesitated, and that pause was a dagger. Resentment boiled over. I slapped him, the crack echoing, my palm stinging. He reeled, touching his cheek, but didn't fight back. "I'm sorry," he muttered, but it was hollow, a coward's retreat. Elena reached for me. "Sarah, please, I love him too." I shoved her away, her heel catching, sending her stumbling. "Love? You call this love? You're my sister in everything but blood." Tears burned my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. Not here. Not for them. The reception hall loomed across the street, tents set up with fairy lights and champagne towers that now mocked my shattered dreams. Guests trickled out, avoiding my gaze, murmuring condolences like I was at a funeral. My funeral. I fled to my car, the engine roaring to life as I peeled away, the rearview mirror showing Mark and Elena arguing on the steps. Humiliation pulsed in my veins like poison. Every friend, every relative now knew. The whispers would follow me forever. The jilted bride. The fool. That night, alone in Army apartment, I paced the living room, the unpacked suitcases for our honeymoon taunting me from the corner. Wine stained the carpet where I'd hurled a glass, shards glinting like accusations. Heartbreak twisted into obsession. How long? Where? In our bed. Images flashed. Elena's laugh at our engagement party, Mark's late nights at work. Clues I'd ignored, blinded by trust. Guilt nipped at me. Was I too distant? Too focused on the wedding? But no, this was their betrayal, not mine. Anger solidified into cold resolve. They couldn't just walk away. Not after this. I scrolled through texts, old photos of us three. Beach days, holidays. Each one a lie now. Elena's messages from last week. Can't wait for your big day. Love you forever. Balrose. I imagined confronting them, but words weren't enough. Revenge simmered, quiet at first. What if I expose them? Ruin their lives like they ruined mine? Doubt crept in. Am I that person? But the humiliation replayed, a loop in my mind, fueling the fire. By dawn, as rain pattered against the window, a plan formed. Subtle. Strategic. I'd play the victim publicly, gather sympathy, while privately, I'd dismantle them. The next weeks blurred into a haze of cancelled vendors, returned gifts, and pitying calls. How are you holding up? My sister asked over coffee, her eyes soft. I forced a smile, voice steady. Devastated, but moving on. Inside, resentment festered. Mark moved out, leaving half-empty closets like ghosts. Elena vanished from social media, but I heard through mutual friends she'd kept the baby. Their baby. Obsession gripped me. I drove by her apartment late at night, watching shadows in the windows, imagining them together. Moral conflict warred. This isn't you, Sarah. Let it go. But the fantasy of justice whispered back. They deserve it. I started small. Anonymous tips to Mark's boss about irregularities in his expense reports. Nothing major, just enough to trigger an audit. He called me furious. Sarah, was that you? This could cost me my job. I feigned innocence, voice sweet. Why would I do that? After what you did. Silence stretched, tension crackling through the line. He hung up, but I heard the fear. Elena next. I accidentally forwarded her pregnancy announcement, stolen from her private messages, to our entire friend group. Chaos ensued. Texts flooded in. Is this real? She confronted me at a cafe. Her belly just starting to show under her sweater. Sarah, please. I know you're hurt, but this is low. Her eyes brimmed with tears, but I saw the manipulation, the way she twisted her ring. Mark's mother's, probably given to her now. Low. I leaned in, voice a hiss. You announced it at my wedding. In front of everyone. She flinched, glancing around at the clinking cups and murmured conversations. I had to. For the baby. Guilt flickered in her expression, but it was laced with defiance. We didn't plan this. I stood, leaving her with the bill, my heart pounding with a dark satisfaction. But doubt lingered. Am I becoming the monster? As months passed, the plan evolved. I reconnected with old flames, posted glowing selfies online. Look how well I'm doing. Friends praised my resilience, but inside, cold resolve hardened. I hired a PI discreetly to dig into their lives. Reports came. Secret meetings, financial strains from the pregnancy. Mark's job teetered. Elena's freelance gigs dried up amid rumors. Suspense built slowly. Phone calls at odd hours, hang-ups that left them paranoid. I watched from afar, the thrill mixing with fear. What if they trace it back? One night, alone with a bottle of scotch, fantasies turned vivid. Confront them at their own wedding. Or worse. But moral grayness tugged. The baby is innocent. Guilt surged, but resentment drowned it. They thought they'd won. Show them otherwise. Winter gripped the city, frost etching windows like fragile warnings. 6 months post-wedding, that farce, I'd rebuilt outwardly. New job in marketing, a sleek apartment downtown where echoes didn't haunt me. But inwardly, the obsession consumed. Every morning, I woke to the same rage, an ember that never cooled. Mark and Elena lived together now, in a cozy suburb house bought with his inheritance. Our planned nest egg. The PI's photos showed them arguing on the porch, her belly swollen, him pacing with a phone to his ear. But let tension fester. He escalated subtly. Forged emails from concerned friends to Elena's clients, hinting at unreliability. Her portfolio site crashed, hacked. Who knew? She called me sobbing. Sarah, stop, please. I know it's you. Her voice cracked, revealing cracks in her facade. I never meant to hurt you like this. Believable. Almost. But I remembered her standing there, stealing my moment. Hurt me. You destroyed me. I hung up, heart racing, the line between justice and cruelty blurring. Mark next. His audit deepened. Whispers of embezzlement, planted of course. He showed up at my door one stormy evening, rain dripping from his coat, eyes hollow. Sarah, we need to talk. The living room smelled of takeout and regret as he sat, hands clasped. Elena's struggling. The stress. It's bad for the baby. Suppressed rage boiled. I poured coffee, fingers steady. And whose fault is that? He sighed, running a hand through his hair. Still the same messy style I'd loved. Ours. But you're making it worse. The calls, the sabotage. I interrupted, voice calm. Sabotage. I'm just surviving. His eyes searched mine, a flicker of the old affection. I still care about you. Manipulation. He leaned in. Then leave her. He recoiled, guilt etching his face. I can't. The child. Moral conflict hit me, he's trapped too. But no, he'd chosen. As spring thawed the ice, suspense tightened. I befriended Elena's sister. Casual lunches turning confessional. She's paranoid, she confided over salads, the cafe buzzing around us. Thinks someone's out to get them. I nodded sympathetically, filing away details. Their due date, financial woes. Inner doubt gnawed. This is revenge, but at what cost? Fantasies shifted. From ruin to revelation. What if I exposed deeper secrets? The PI uncovered Mark's gambling habit. Hidden debts. Elena's past affair, ironic. The climax brewed at their baby shower. A garden party I crashed via invitation from a mutual friend. Pastel balloons bobbed in the breeze. Laughter floating over catered trays. Elena glowed in a floral dress, hand on her bump, but her eyes darted nervously. Mark hovered, tense. I approached with a gift. A teddy bear, innocuous. Congratulations, I said, voice honeyed. She stiffened, whispering. What are you doing here? Guests watched, whispers starting. Just wishing you well. Tension hummed like electricity. Later, alone in the kitchen amid clinking glasses, Mark cornered me. Leave us alone, Sarah. His breath was whiskey-tinged, eyes desperate. You've won. We're miserable. Cold resolve surged. Won. You think this is a game? I pulled out my phone, showing emails, proof of his debts, her lies. One click, and everyone knows. He paled. Please. For old times. Heartbreak resurfaced, layered with resentment. Old times ended when you betrayed me. Outside, Elena found us, face crumpling. Sarah, I'm sorry. Truly. It started as comfort after your fights, but revelation hit. Our arguments, my stress from work, had driven him to her. Guilt twisted. Was I partly to blame? But no. Betrayal was theirs. As guests mingled, I stepped to the microphone for toasts. Heart pounding, I spoke. To Mark and Elena, may your future be as honest as your past. Murmurs rose. Then the twist. I played a recording, Stolen voicemails of their affair broadcasted. Gasps echoed. Elena collapsed in tears. Mark lunged, but too late. Chaos erupted. Guests fled. Police were called for disturbance. But the damage was done. Their secrets aired, relationships fractured. I walked away, rain starting anew, a poetic cleanse. Yet, as I drove home, unexpected consequences hit. Emptiness. Revenge tasted bitter, not sweet. Obsession lifted, leaving hollow resolve. In the mirror that night, I saw not a victim, but a mirror of them, flawed, vengeful. Months later, news came. The baby arrived healthy, but they split amid the fallout. Mark sought therapy. Elena moved away. I dated again, scars fading. The twist. A letter from Elena. You were right. We deserved it. But forgive yourself. Moral grayness lingered, but peace settled. Betrayal birthed revenge, yet in the end it freed me.